Good morning, everyone. It's just coming up to 2 o'clock in the morning here in Les Sables d'Olonne, and it's April the 10th. And this is what we're looking at for Ian. This is the windy map. You can see everything's becoming a little bit dramatic right now, and it's changed its intensity and also the way it's forming up. It's kind of very unstable, and it hasn't actually reached as far north. The region, the centre of it, this pressure system hasn't actually reached uh, the shape and the height that we had hoped. So Ian actually turned around, has been making south, but only doing about 3 knots. So it hasn't been a fast progress, and then the whole thing hasn't really done Ian any favours. It's going to come right over the top of him, and he can't really avoid it. I've now suggested that he just do what he can to keep the boat safe. So this position we've got here now, or you can see it shaping up here over to the west of him, and it's changed again completely. The way it's forming up. This position I've got here for Ian right now is where he'll be in about 6 hours. Okay, so that's where it'll be in 6 hours, and I'll just toggle this through now. This weather situation is exactly what we've got at the moment. Okay, so I'll take it through 6 hours, and you'll see. Jeepers. Okay, so that didn't work. Come back again here. Okay, so now I've got to put his position back so you can see what's going on. And where is it here? I've got to get it again. Sorry about this. I pressed the wrong button. 4630. Cheapest. Okay, 4630, 40. 46, 4630, near enough to there. 40, back here. Okay, so just moving this around manually, I find it's easier to actually do 4630 and 40. That's near enough to there. Okay, and this is his current timeline. So there's 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. So within 5 hours, what we're looking at also is wind gusts. I just wanted to show you the wind gusts. So there's 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. And you can see how this whole thing now, this whole area of gusts is getting really quite intense, and it's forming up. If we go backwards, you'll see it's changing its shape. So at the moment, it's only a little area right here, and then a few hours later, so this is 4 hours from now, Ian's time, and it's the intense area is getting a lot stronger. Ian hasn't been able to get south down here into this shape because this shape hasn't actually gone any further north. He will have only travelled about 25 miles or something, which is nothing. Even if he was carrying on the way he was, he's only going to be in this area here. So, and very quickly, it comes across about 7, 8 hours, and you can see now it's intensifying even more. This is the real super intense zone. Sea state is at this stage building slowly. It's up to 3.7 knots, meters. It started at only 2.9 meters, but it's going to jump very quickly. And the period is 7 seconds. So it's quite close together. Okay, and it's going to be a sudden wind direction change. It's northwest. Okay, the swell, secondary swell, there is 1.4 meters from the south. So 1.4 is, not small. It's not huge, but it's on top of a 3.9, whatever it was back here, 3.7. So it will absolutely be creating an uncomfortable sea, even though it's not small, in amongst about a 40-knot forecast wind from the northwest. Okay, that's the forecast. And again, the gust at 53 knots already. Now you can see it's northwest. It's then going to go west, and then it's very quickly going to turn southwest in a very short period of time, which is going to make a very uncomfortable sea. and the height is going to be building rapidly, so it could be classed as a bit worse than uncomfortable. Okay, so I'll push this through another hour, and you'll see it gusts are immediately jumping very fast now. The wind has gone from northwest to the west in that 1 hour. Okay, so that changes a few things as well. It's building and the sea's coming up very fast. So still holding at 4 meters, all right, but it's still a 7-second sequence, which is very tight, makes them quite steep. And now we've got the next hour, wind forecast 52 knots, still from the west. Wind gusts up around 70 knots, and the worst is yet to come. Okay, and at that point, in those 2 hours, the wind is now swinging to the southwest. So in a couple of hours, it's gone from northwest to west, now southwest, and the sea again is building up to 5 meters every 7 seconds, which is close together. The secondary swell from the south still holding 1.8 meters. So it's, what would you say? It will have an impact on the shape of the waves, and the wind is now changing directions. So this is forecast wind, okay, so not gusts. 1 extra hour, and it's 49 knots. So the worst of the wind forecast is gone. The front's come through. It's now southwesterly, and the wind gusts are going to get pretty interesting, up to 75 knots, and it's still not in the worst of it yet. So wave height at that stage up to 6.4 meters, and only 1 second increase in the period. So that's still considered to be well, it's lengthening, but it's still pretty tight for 6.4 meter C. So the wind strength forecast, this is forecasting it's drops off to 41 knots, but the gusts get even worse. Okay, is up to 80 knots. And remembering this is all sort of forecast stuff, and he's probably in the worst of it there at that point. Sea height going up to 6.7 meters at 9 second interval. The secondary swell still holding 1.8 meters. And so that means there will be created what I call holes. There'll be holes around the place. And then pretty quickly, the wind strength is dropping off, but the gusts are holding. So it's only dropping just a little bit. And then the wind gusts is still at 85 knots. Okay. And I'll just follow through the wind gust now. He's gone through the worst of it. And to give you an idea of the height, this is like 30 miles, or well, if we come off of this up there, that's now 40, so it's 37, 40 miles difference, and he's right in the middle of it. Whatever he had have done, there was really nothing that could be done. He's going to get clobbered on this one. And then the next hour, 75, next hour, 66. So it's dropping off, but he's going to have about 5 hours of very intense wind gusts, and sea state at that stage up around 6.7. The worst sea state's about 7 meters, so still not a big sea. The period's opening up to 10 seconds there, which is a little bit better. The secondary swell is still there, dropping off now to 1 meter. So it's going to be a very messy sea, and the wind is dropping very rapidly then from that point on. So in about 7 hours, Ian is going to start seeing some interesting stuff going on. So back then, still gusting 53. So this is 2000 Zulu on the 10th. So if we just follow this through, the gusts are still staying high right through until midnight on the 11th. Still gusting 48, but the wind strength has dropped off to 30 odd knots, 32 knots, and that's still significant. The gusts are the one that's going to be kicking in. Sea state still holding 7.1 meters, so you still got a 7 meter sea, 50 knot gusts, 30, 31, 32 knot wind at midnight on the 10th. And the sea state just keeps getting bigger. 7.2, 5 o'clock in the morning. It's still holding. It's going to hold through all the way. 7 meter seas are going to really hold there for uh, at least 12 hours until midday next day. Then it's dropping off. So the sea state's going to stay. If we come back to Zulu, that's 5 o'clock in the morning. The wind has dropped back to 30 knots, but the gusts are still holding at 44 knots. So the next 24, well, once it kicks in, and it's going to kick in about 3 o'clock in the morning. So, sorry, 3 o'clock. So it's going to kick in about 7 hours. So 10 o'clock. Yeah, he's got this whole thing's going to take 24 hours to move through. So this is without doubt the most severe weather that I've seen on anyone in the GGR since the start, and it's gonna impact him for about 24 hours. He's in good condition. The boat's in good condition. All that sort of stuff. There's nowhere for him to hide on this because of the way it's formed. It's just decided to target him basically, and he couldn't have done anything going north or south. It's really quite intense. So we'll be thinking of him, and we'll keep you updated on progress as it goes through. So have a good day or a good evening wherever you are, and we'll keep you updated. So fingers crossed for Ian. We'll see you tomorrow. Oh no, sorry, today. We're all in the next bit. See ya.